more limit I want to take a look at here. Okay, I've got the limit as x goes to 0 of sine of 2x over sine of 5x. Both of those are going to 0, so it's an indeterminate form. Okay, and really I don't see any techniques other than using this that look at all promising. There's no factoring, there's no rationalizing, and since I've got signs on top and on bottom, squeeze theorem doesn't look particularly good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is say I would like to have underneath that sine 2x, I'd like to have a 2x. And underneath that sine 5x, I'd like to have a 5x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 1 twice. I'm going to multiply the top by 1 in the form of 2x over 2x. And I'm going to multiply the bottom by 1 in the form of 5x over 5x. Okay. Now, in order to introduce the 2x that I want on bottom, I also introduced a 2x on top. In order to introduce the 5x that I wanted on bottom, I introduced a 5x on top, the top of the bottom, because we've got a complex fraction. But that's okay. I'm going to say now this was the limit as x goes to 0. I'm going to have this complex fraction, but I'm going to pair up the pieces that I want together. So I've got sine of 2x over 2x, and then that's multiplied by this extra piece 2x. Okay, that's the 2x that I was forced to introduce on top so that this would just be 1. Same thing on bottom. I'll say this is sine 5x over 5x. And then I've still got that extra 5x that I'm multiplying that by. Okay. Now, for this piece, I've got the same thing plugged into sine on top as on bottom. For this piece, I've got the same thing plugged into sine on top and on bottom. I'm just saying that x goes to 0, but I can write as x goes to 0, I know that any multiple of x goes to 0. So 2x goes to 0, and 5x goes to 0. So with that, I've got the same quantities, 2x and then 5x, in all three places. Okay. Now this is a little bit tricky because 2x is going to 0 and so is 5x. But notice that extra x on top and that extra x on bottom, I can just cancel. The 2 and the 5 are just constants. So I can pull that outside, so I can say that's 2/5 limit as x goes to 0, sine 2x over 2x, over sine 5x over 5x. Each of these I can conclude goes to 1 because I've specified that I have that quantity going to 0 as well. So I can say this is 2/5 times 1 over 1, which is 2/5. Again, word of warning, do not factor out that 2 and factor out that 5. Even though that will give you the right answer, that is completely breaking the rules of math. Sine of 2x is not 2 copies of sine x. So that's completely wrong. You can convince yourself that it's right because it leads you to the right answer, but you will get no credit if you do that. You need to manipulate this algebraically so that you get something that looks like this and can use this known limit. Okay, so there aren't a ton of problems that deal with this in the homework, but there are a few, so I wanted to make sure that we worked through these tricks, and you should make sure that you do those homework problems. This textbook doesn't emphasize this as much as some have, but not something you want to skip because this is a topic that many students find is a little bit challenging. You want to make sure that you're practicing on that. Okay,